welcome back to Mac Music Review. I apologize for the noise. There you go. It'll come back and go, and eventually it'll be gone. Don't worry about it. Except for these terrible cicadas. What's up, man? It's like that scene in that, never mind. Anyway, today we're looking at an album. Before I do, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description. If you don't know how the channel works, all that's going to be down in the description. Today, we are looking at the album LV Envy by Jgivens. LV Envy is the debut album for Jgivens. It's really hard to gauge the popularity and success of Jgivens albums because it's virtually non-existent. This album was actually self-released by Jgivens, which is worth noting. It was not a Humble Beast album. It was not produced and made by the Humble Beast guys. And I guess it kind of shows if you look at the guest artist listing. Fly Exam was jam-packed with significant, like, small Christian rappers. This is much smaller Christian rappers I guarantee you've never heard of. Like, even smaller than Jgivens. Jgivens, really small, and these guys are, even smaller. But Fly Exam had some decent guest artists, that do have some popularity and success within Humble Beast and the, underground Christian rap scene, I guess you could say. More underground than Reach Records. Christian rap isn't really big anyway, so it's kind of hard to emphasize the smaller Christian rappers because it's already a very small genre. LV Envy is a good bit longer than Fly Exam. This one actually has 17 tracks. There is one non-song on here, one interlude slash skit slash whatever you want to call it, and that song is The Prestige, and about the middle of the album. And that's not a full song. But besides that, this is a lot of music. I think it's over an hour worth of music on this album. The music on this album, man, it is very different from Fly Exam. Fly Exam it's totally its own thing. It was, the biggest thing about it was it sounded very modern, had a lot of futuristic sounds, a lot of sputtering beats and stuff. And that's basically gone with this album. Instead, what you get with LV Envy is some stuff that's really sample-focused, like the song By Avenue. The first song, Abridged Thoughts, is actually, the music in this song is taken straight from the Beauty and the Beast soundtrack from the classic. And that's kind of crazy, that he just lifted the music and put it on this song. And it works really, really well. It's kind of weird, but you wouldn't think that would work in a rap song, but it works very well. Yeah, a lot of it's sample-filled. A good example is the song The Prestige, which opens with a sample from Rocky and Bullwinkle. And then at the end, and then in the middle section, the song's only 50 seconds long, the interlude song. And then you have really upbeat, really energetic, fast battle rapping. And then a super fast machine gun for 5 seconds, he gets gunned down at the end of the song. It is crazy. And then By Avenue, another song with plenty of samples. It starts with the first couple seconds, it sounds like you're in a casino, you hear people talking, and you hear the machines going off. And then at the end of this song, you get Hadouken. You get Ryu saying Hadouken just to finish it off, and a video game sound right at the end. So, pretty cool. This album is really pretty downbeat and mellow. That is the best way to describe the tone of this album. Occasionally, the music will get a little bit energetic, like on the Bus Stop song, or it'll get a little bit more poppy and not like pop music, but it will pop. It'll be a little bit loud. It'll have a bit of a bump to it, a little bit of a drum sound. But that's really not the majority of this album. Most of these songs are really slow. They kind of have a vocal sample in the background, like They Say. And there's a lot of synths on this album. A lot of parts where the music is very synthy, and they'll have a synth just jump into the song, like on By Avenue, or The End. Or it's not called The End, it's blank, blank, blank end. Because I don't know, creative choices. But you got some synths on this album. A lot of the songs are really jazzy and downbeat and mellow. A good example of a really jazzy song is The Huxtables. That one has significant jazz elements to it. And several songs on this album do. Most of this album is just really mellow and downbeat. The lyrical content on this album... in this album, LV Envy is spelled L-E-L and then V dot envy, which has a meaning, but then also LV, Las Vegas, Envy, Nevada, is what this album, a ton of this album is inspired by, is Jgivens, where he was born and raised, was Las Vegas. And he paints a very different picture of Las Vegas than what you might get in the movies or TV shows or how other people portray it or what you might have heard. He really shows it as a very dark, hopeless, bleak place where everyone is struggling with addiction to gambling, addiction to sex, addiction to all kinds of stuff. And he paints it as violent and just bleak and depressing. The songs that really do this are the first song, Abridged Thoughts, where it does it very quickly and energetically, and then the Bus Stop song, which is another one which has some of the most spastic, electronic, most Fly Exam kind of sounding music, but at the same time, it sounds very much like LVNV. It kind of sounds like a sample with the kind of energetic synth music on that one, where he talks about like getting shot and just trying to get to the bus stop before he gets shot or something like that, where it once again just paints a very dark picture. And this album, a lot of the lyrical content on this album is inspired by his Christian faith, a ton of the lyrical content, so plenty of stuff relating to faith and God and stuff on this album as well. LVNV is an insanely impressive debut album for Jgivens. This guy has a really good track record with this album and his sophomore album, which I think is better. But this album is really, really great. The production on this album, I think the biggest standout on this album, honestly, is the production. While Fly Exam stood out for its fantastic wordplay and lyricism, and you still see some of that here, and Fly Exam had amazing similes and analogies and imagery and scenarios and context and personification, all that fantastic stuff. I'm an English major, so college started recently. I'm an English major, so I picked up on all that, and it's really great. This album is less of that. There is some of that, like on the song Polar Express, where he does the analogy of Cookie Monster and all the cookies. He uses this long extended analogy about Cookie Monster that's really pretty great, really creative and fun. But yeah, this album, the production is the biggest standout about this album. Abridged Thoughts sounds amazing, dude. The Beauty and the Beast soundtrack, because he puts this on this song, and I think he edits it somehow, does something to it, and it sounds amazing. It's just like, whoa, it just kind of fills you with wonder at how good it sounds. By Avenue, with its sample-filled elements and the more energetic music and the use of synths, it all works very well. Sin City Bread, oh man, this song is awesome. It's another more upbeat song. The first few songs on this album are fairly upbeat, and then the last 7 or the last, everything after the Bus Stop song is more downbeat and mellow. And these first few songs stand out even more for the rest of the album being so mellow. Sin City Bread is just a huge standout, super catchy, just sounds really great. Everything about this song just works very well. The Bus Stop song is another highly successful song with some of the most energetic synth music on the album. Some of the most, along with the lyrics and his performance, are more punchy than basically the rest of the album. And it stands out, and it's really good. Really, really solid. It is really hard to describe what Jgivens does in the music on Help Me One Obi-Wan Kenobi, You're My Only Hope. I don't know what is up with this music. I don't know what instrument that is. I know there's a drum beat, but it's just really like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is, but it sounds amazing. I want to tell you what the music is, but I can't I don't know what instrument that is or what, I guess it was made on a computer, but it doesn't sound like it was. It's not synths, it's something else, but it is a fantastic song. It's fantastic. The Pledge, they say, the Pledge, and then in parentheses, in quote marks, they say, is fantastic. It's beautiful. This music, this vocal sample, it's glorious. It's like heavenly. It sounds so good. It's really just, it's like, boom, it just like washes over you. It's so good. The song is so good. The Huxtables is jazz music in all its glory, or rap jazz or jazz that's kind of a little bit edited for something or whatever. It sounds amazing. I remember when I first reviewed this album, I didn't care much for the song. I don't know why. I don't know why I originally didn't think it was great, because it's fantastic. It's one of the shorter songs in the album. It's only like a little bit over 2 minutes, and it sounds amazing. This is jazz music in rap, jazz in rap music, like at its finest. It sounds fantastic. Now, what I have to say about the second half of this album is that musically, lyrically, vocally, these songs all work very well. The problem is, it's very mellow from this point onward. You don't get those samples, you don't get those standout, like totally beautiful, like on Obi-Wan Kenobi and The Pledge. You don't get that truly awesome sounding, amazing music that just feels so good on these next two songs. They still sound pretty good, and they're still very well made and well produced and well sung, but they kind of bleed together, and they kind of are just all very mellow, and for that reason it kind of hurts the album a little bit. They're still very good songs, they're just, they kind of bleed together, and they're doing the same thing multiple times, and so it works a little bit less each time they do it, I guess. And it's just having that sameness kind of hurts the album, and that's really the only thing I have wrong with this album. The lyrical content is really, really great. Not as great as Fly Exam, of course, but still very high quality and very good. Jgivens gives a fantastic performance, especially with these very mellow songs. He can really, he can be like a battle rapper when he wants to do like a really fast song and just go crazy. But then when he wants to be really mellow, he also can do a really great job. This is a great album. It's, the one thing I said that's wrong with this is the sameness in the second half of the album, and doing the same thing with the music over and over again, and it just kind of needs something to kind of lift the mood and to do something. It really just kind of needs something in the midst to break apart to help the album. That's the only thing I have wrong with this album. I'm going to give it a 4.25 out of 5. LVNV is fantastic. This is a fantastic debut album. Jgivens, I don't know if I said this, I think I did say this in my last album review for Jgivens, but he's doing a new album. He's got a Patreon right now. If you watch this video and you're a Jgivens fan, go support the Patreon. I can't wait for this new album. It's going to be called Domino, and I think it's going to be fantastic. Based on the little intro song he did, and IDK, it's another song he made. It might be on the album, and it's pretty good. It's not the best song he's ever made, but it's not the worst, and it's pretty good. Thank you for watching the video.